In this video, I'm going to answer the question, can you actually get rich trading Forex robots? And the reason you should trust me on this one is because I've been trading with Forex robots for 6 years and I've had lots of success and I've also blown lots of accounts. So I'm going to answer a couple things. Number one, that question, can you actually get rich long-term trading Forex robots? Two is I'm going to explain to you why most Forex robots eventually fail. And number three, I'm going to explain to you what you can actually do about it so that way your Forex robot has a less likelihood of actually failing. So when I first got started trading Forex, I remember my very first trade. If some of you guys have heard the story, I got on this oil trading session with this supposed guru. I had no idea what I was doing clearly, but I basically lost $10,000 in the matter of like this 4-hour trading session. Which is a complete disaster. And I went off on this path to try to figure out how to become a successful Forex trader. And I, watched a bunch of YouTube videos and took some courses and did all this sort of stuff. It really wasn't actually until I started discovering Forex robots or algorithmic trading that I actually started to see some sort of consistent success. And I was trading some really simple Forex robots at the time. They were versions of dollar cost averaging or martingale strategies, which you're probably familiar with, which is basically just, as price dives down, you're going to take another order, take another buy, and eventually you're going to hope that the market continues in an upward direction to basically break even or to make a little bit of money on those trades that were normally losers. So this was all good and all, and I was making consistent profits, but it made me a completely nervous wreck because I remember several times I'd be at dinner, literally looking at my account and seeing it in this massive amount of drawdown. Eventually, a bunch of these accounts that I actually started that were martingale style accounts actually ended up blowing up. So is it actually possible to be profitable long-term trading Forex robots? And if you've traded Forex robots for any period of time, you've probably seen some robots that work for quite a period of time and it's really, really exciting and life-changing. And then a lot of the times you'll see the same exact ones that were the greatest thing since sliced bread end up blowing up. So here's a few things that I learned about why strategies end up blowing up and what to actually do about it. In Forex robotic trading or algorithmic trading, there's really just two types of strategies. There's a trend following strategy, which is going to be harder psychologically to trade because it's going to have a lower hit rate, but it's going to have a more favorable risk to reward ratio. And the problem with the trend following strategies, it can take a long time to get back into profit and generally can have longer periods of drawdown. So for most retail traders, it's psychologically very, very difficult. The second type of trading strategy is a mean reversion strategy that works really great in ranging markets, which will happen maybe 70% of the time, but they really struggle during a big trend that is inevitable to happen. As we know, the market goes from ranging to trending, ranging to trending, ranging to trending. And so eventually what I learned about these dollar cost averaging or martingale or mean reversion type trading strategies is you need to have hard stop losses in there. So that way you don't risk blowing your entire account, because a lot of these sort of systems have very high risk of ruin. But if you have a hard, what I call uncle point, where you completely get out of the market, then you can make money very consistently, day after day after day for a very long time. And when drawdown does happen during a big trend, which it's bound to do, you'll have a sharp dip in your equity curve, but at least the account will be able to survive and you'll be able to go back on a win streak, which, may take you some time to get back up to a new high water mark. But that's the way that I've seen that these strategies actually need to be traded. So all of this to say is it actually possible to be profitable long-term? I think I'd tell you this story because I think you'd find it interesting. There's a member of ours, this guy right here. He's this British guy, really awesome guy. Actually, his name's Scott Smith. And we actually did a video with him on our YouTube channel previously, which you can check out. I think the thumbnail looks something like this. Joe had interviewed him. But essentially, Scott Smith is somebody that came to us. He was a marketer. He had no trading experience. He had never traded before. He didn't know what Forex was, but we set him up on one of our trading robots that happens to be a mean reversion type of system. And he basically said that he put in about $87,000 plus commission from Payback FX were paid in. So maybe an extra 2K. So maybe total he put in about 90,000. And he said, before I paused, when Putin started going mental, the account was at $324,000. After a 4K loss, I took on purpose just to get out. So essentially, this was a great example of somebody that grew an account from about 87 to 90,000 to over 324,000. And this was quite a while ago when I had last asked him. Now, as a matter of fact, he started doing so well trading with this robot. And again, he was just using that same system where he had a hard uncle spot. He'd run it pretty aggressively, and then he would have that hard stop point where he'd get out of the market entirely. But eventually what he ended up doing was he actually ended up setting this up for each one of his kids. And he was actually paying for his kids' college tuition using this sort of trading strategy. And he'd been doing this for several years at the last time I talked to him, and I'll have to follow up with him again. Now, the thing that that I really learned about these strategies and these Forex robots, in order to get them to work long time, you have to constantly update them with current market conditions, because you may run Forex robot that works great for 2022, but then you come into 2023, the market conditions are different, interest rates are different, what's happening politically is different, and the system may work completely different. It may not work at all anymore. So what we found is what's best is to regularly optimize your trading system to fit the most current market conditions. So what we did is we actually took a page out of Tesla's book. If you see, Tesla, they're building these self-driving cars, right? And the way that they're doing it is because they have all of these different users. Imagine each one of these is like a different user. And all of these users, they're out there and, they're driving their car around, and they've got this self-driving feature, and it really has like this onboard computer on there. And anytime they're driving, it's sending data back to Tesla's database, and it's saying, hey, we need to turn earlier on Johnson Street, or hey, there's a curve in the road right here. We need to turn earlier. So it's using all of its users to basically send data back to Tesla. And what Tesla's doing is they're building this, self-driving sort of computer / car. And that's really what they are, is they're really a data company. And so the way that we thought about this with our trading robot is, we have our algorithm, which is here, and we realize that the market conditions may change, just like how the roads may change. But if we have a ton of people that are using it, that are testing it, and we're able to get all this data back to us, then we can continue to improve this algorithm. So that way it's always fitting for current market conditions. And that's the whole idea behind how we built it. So that way we can give ourselves the highest likelihood of having success in a different market scenario. Now, obviously, not anything's guaranteed. Past results don't necessarily guarantee future results, but this is what we found to be best. So the way that we're actually using our Forex robot currently is we're actually using it to pass these things called prop firm challenges. If you're not familiar with them, really quickly, they're basically these large capital firms that they're looking to hire good traders. And all you need to do is you need to pass their test. Basically, it requires you to do 10% profit in a month with no more than like 10% drawdown. And so the reason we really like using our Forex robot to pass prop firm challenges is because we don't have to risk much of our own capital, right? We can risk $500 to take the test. And if we pass the test, we can get access up to like $100,000 worth of trading capital, which then when we trade on, what we actually like to do is we like to go for really conservative things. So we like to just go for like 1% to 2% per month. And essentially, if you just do 1% per month, right, that's $1,000, not life-changing. If you do 2%, it's just $2,000, which is not life-changing. But the idea is to continue to use this algorithm to get you access to more and more funds. Like for example, we had a member of ours, a retired eye doctor, that got access to $2 million worth of funding. We had another guy in our group. He was an engineer from California. He got access to like $800,000, all using this exact same process. So this is kind of how we keep it up to date. Anytime one of our users are using our robot and they do a back test or they try some new strategy, it actually automatically gets uploaded into this leaderboard where we can see things like the success rate. We can also see the results week by week, if it would have passed or failed the test. We can also see, if this has actually been verified in the live market or not. And then our users can just download these settings files, so that way they can just use the top strategies that are working in the market conditions right now. So to answer the question, can you actually get rich trading Forex robots? I'm not here to guarantee everyone's going to get rich trading any robot, whether it's ours or the greatest one on the market or whoever's. But the reality is you can actually make this a profitable venture if you know how to control your risk, hard stop losses, and at the same time, we found the best risk to reward is to actually use these using prop firm challenges so you can get access to a lot more capital, not have to risk your own funds. If you'd like to see more about this, I'll leave a video on screen here that can explain to you a little bit more about how we went through this process of creating it, how you could use it, and how you'd only have to pay for it if you actually ended up getting funded and having success with it, or else you don't have to pay for it. So go ahead, check out the video on the screen right now. I promise you, you'll find it insightful.